retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring to their knees. They fit their disease. Just like a weed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to a very special edition Sunday stream. We are streaming live on 4 different platforms across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different accounts. And once again, we got a lot of material to discuss, as November is going to be a month packed with material regarding the world of pro wrestling and a lot of good material as well. Welcome to the official rewind for WWE Crown Jewel 2023, which of course is streaming live or streamed live already on the Peacock that is. Get your mind out of the gutter, you fucking savages. Peacock. Yesterday afternoon, with the pre-show starting at 12 p.m. noon Eastern time, that is. The main show started at 1 p.m. Eastern time in the afternoon, and it was not a terrible show. It was not bad whatsoever. It was decent for what it was, but ultimately, there were a few things that brought the show down several pegs. We're going to discuss that. For the most part, we did get some very good wrestling on the show. Every match had the outcome that we pretty much all expected it to have. For the most part, the majority of the matches had the right outcomes. They did what they needed to do. It advanced a few storylines, and it seems to have set the pace pretty decently going into Survivor Series. And if we want to take a look at Survivor Series, we can pretty much look at what happened at Crown Jewel, and we can kind of piece together where WWE is going for Survivor Series on November 25th at the end of the month. 3 weeks is going to go by quick. October went by like that. October is all such a dull blur to me. I don't even know what the fuck happened in October anymore. I'm telling you. It's absolutely ridiculous. But October went by extremely quick. We're in the month of November now, and tomorrow it is going to be nearly a week into November. Absolutely ridiculous. But we are going to dissect everything Crown Jewel related. Thank you very much to Dylan, who's currently watching right now. How's my mic coming in? My mic coming in good? If not, please let me know. But we're going to talk about everything regarding Crown Jewel, a decent professional wrestling show. Was it their best Saudi Arabian show ever? No. That accolade belongs to last year's Crown Jewel. Last year's Crown Jewel was excellent. Last year's Crown Jewel was great. But this year's Crown Jewel, it started off very good, and then the middle of the show, it started to go down several pegs, and then the last 2 matches of the show kind of brought it back up. It was an up show. It went down, and then it went up. It was very, very weird. It's almost like the show didn't know what it wanted to do. It was up, it was down, and then it was back up again. I don't know what happened with the crowd. I really don't know what happened with the crowd, but I have my theory. Regardless of that, thank you all for stopping on by. Thank you very much, Sarah Hapka, for stopping on by. I hope that you are having a wonderful Sunday, and I hope that you enjoy this wonderful stream that I have put together here. Of course, DJ Storms is live on a Sunday because on Sunday, the Lord rested because DJ Storm said, "Don't worry, big guy. I got this." Before we get into what we're going to get into, a couple self-brand promotion and advertisements. Please make sure, if you have not already done so, please go follow me on social media. That would be History Maker DJS. Once again, at History Maker DJS, both on X and Instagram. Please make sure you go and check out my personal Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, which we are live on, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. Couple sponsorships I want to shout out. I'm doing this very, very quickly. Shout out to Brittany K, wonderful woman, great friend of mine, big supporter of the channel. She does beautifully crafted graphic designs and drawings from scratch on her iPad of professional wrestlers. She also does Twitter avies and Twitter banners. So guys, if you are looking for a nice Twitter avie or a banner or just a great design of a professional wrestler, please go and show her some love. Her Twitter is BrittanyK5150, while her Instagram account is Brittany K Designs. Shout out to my second sponsorship, that being Jay Aletto. He is, of course, the creator of PWP Nation. We are not live on the PWP Nation Facebook page right now, simply because of the fact that, when it comes to the rundown and the rewind, I need those for myself. I need to be live on Hardcore Sports social medias, and I need to be live on my own social medias because I want to be able to curse. I want to yell, I want to scream, I want to curse, I want to say bitch, bastard, fuck, cocksucker, and dickwad, left, right, and center, because it makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. So we are not live on PWP Nation Facebook page, but if you guys haven't already done so, please make sure you go show some love to the PWP Nation Facebook page on Facebook. As always, you can look them up, PWP Nation, and then check out the PWP Nation website as well. We are hopefully going to get that started up again by early 2024. Plenty of things that are going to have to fall into place, and hopefully 2024 is going to be the best year for PWP Nation thus far, and hopefully the best year for the DJ Storms brand as well. 2023 has been one hell of a year for me, so I'm hoping that 2024 could be even better than 2023 was. And finally, quick shout out to Corporate Information Systems, CISrecruiters.com, www.CISrecruiters.com, that is. A great recruiting firm recognized by Forbes as one of the best recruiting firms in America. So if you guys are looking to help advance your career or fulfill your recruiting needs, please go and contact my friends at CISrecruiters.com. Their website link is in the description of this very video. If you're looking for a job, you are not going to want to pass on CISrecruiters.com. Of course, be sure to hit that like button no matter where you're watching it from, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or X. Please make sure you hit that like button and you share the stream out on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you use. It is incredibly vital that you share the stream out because everyone needs their dose of DJ Shizzle Dizzle, because it's a known fact that I make people's lives 1,000 times better. That's just what I do. That's just what I do. So if you guys want to help enhance your life, come on, hit the like button. Make sure that everyone knows that they can enhance their lives too by watching DJ Storms. It's not that hard, people. It's not that hard. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, whether it be on the Hardcore Sports channel or my channel, and then hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube, because it is the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Hold on 1 second. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. This beautifully crafted magical ace black comb. Hold on. Gotta blow on it. It is sizzling. It is hot. It is spicy. And I am going to light it up right here on the channel with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like fresh sushi made from scratch, and of course a nice side of rotisserie chicken salad. I'm not sure how people don't like rotisserie chicken salad because it is amazing. I am just so good. I am sizzling. I am the tastiest snack in the IWC. As I fix up this pompadour right here, you already know that everybody wants a piece of the Storm's Meister. Couple more things. I'm thinking about doing an LFU on Thursday this week because this Saturday I had to move World of Wrestling because Jay Leto, he's going to GTS Wrestling. I'm telling you. Absolutely ridiculous. Grim, I'm going to have a talk with you. Grim, if you're watching right now, I don't think he is, but if you're watching right now, Grim, I'm going to have a talk with you because I need Jay Leto on fucking Thursdays, okay? For rundowns, for World of Wrestling. I need him. I fucking need him, okay? We got a major business partnership going on, and we need to live up to these expectations because when World of Wrestling pops on, people are coming on to watch me rip Jay Leto a new asshole. Okay? I need someone so that way I can rip him a new asshole live on camera. So please, can you move the GTS tapings? Ridiculous. But World of Wrestling will be this Saturday at 1 p.m., and the Lightning Flash update will be on Thursday. I guess you can call it a little mini Flash update. We'll go over some news, rumors, and reports, that's for sure. And then me and Jay Leto will be discussing some big-time reports on Saturday. We're going to discuss CM Punk, where he could end up, whether it be in Impact, TNA, WWE. Is he coming back to AEW? Is he going to the NWA? We don't know. We don't know. We're going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss Ric Flair's hiring towards WWE. We're going to get Jay Leto's thoughts on Crown Jewel. We're going to discuss LA Knight's status following his loss to Roman Reigns yesterday afternoon at Crown Jewel. He's ruined. He's ruined. I'm sorry. Let me take a drink. And we're also going to discuss who could potentially jump ship back and forth between WWE and AEW, and plenty more great topics. Plenty more great topics. So we are going to do World of Wrestling Episode 3 this Saturday at 1 p.m., and the Lightning Flash update, the mini Flash update, will be on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Shout out to Dee, who jumped on in. Be sure to share the stream out. We want as many people in here as possible. Anyway, enough self-brand promotion, the advertisements. Let's get into the festivities here. Crown Jewel. For the first time in a long time, actually, there was a kickoff show. It was actually kind of surprising. Kind of surprising to me, if I'm going to be real here. I was not expecting a kickoff show whatsoever. But we had a kickoff show. And it was Sami Zayn versus J.D. McDonough. A couple things I noticed. J.D. McDonough had a bruise. I'm not sure what it was, if it was a bruise, if it was a rash, right on the left side of his abdomen. It looked nasty. I'm not sure if it was a rope burn. I'm not sure if he got that when he was crossroads onto the announce table on Monday. Whatever it may be, it looked nasty. But J.D. McDonough, he went in there and he sold his ass off for Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, the crowd was incredibly lively for Sami Zayn, chanting, "Ole, ole, ole." This match barely went 9 minutes. And it resulted in a win for Sami Zayn. J.D. McDonough got a couple of moves in there, but ultimately it resulted in Sami Zayn hitting an exploder suplex into the corner. Haluva kick connects, and Sami Zayn actually won with a blue thunder bomb. Now that, I will say, was a very nice touch. That was a very nice touch right there. And I actually wish that Sami Zayn will win more matches with the blue thunder bomb, because the blue thunder bomb is probably one of the most beautiful looking moves in the entire industry today. No matter who does it, whether it be Takeshita, whether it be Sami Zayn, whether it be Christopher Daniels, it doesn't matter. Blue thunder bomb is a great move. So Sami Zayn wins the match, and the crowd reaction was very, very nice. It is very, very heartwarming to see Sami Zayn and a guy like Sami Zayn be appreciated for what he can do, because to me, Sami Zayn has really not gotten the proper appreciation for the talent that he is. And whether you want to admit it or not, Sami Zayn's a world championship caliber athlete. Doesn't matter what these aging veterans who do podcasts, who used to do creative writing for the fucking Attitude Era say. Doesn't matter what Jim Cornette says. Doesn't matter what Vince Russo says. Doesn't matter what the fuck Eric Bischoff says. They're all fucking idiots. They're all fucking idiots. Sami Zayn is a world championship caliber pro wrestler. But the match itself was a very, very standard match. Very standard match, nothing crazy. It felt like a Monday Night Raw match. It legitimately felt like a Monday Night Raw match. And yes, I understand it was a pre-show match. I understand that it wasn't really meant to do anything crazy. But even the pre-show match, a motto for me when it comes to pay-per-views, from the opening match to the main event, even the pre-show match, the motto for me would be to make every match feel like a main event level match. Make every match feel like it could steal the show. I really don't understand why we needed majority of the pre-show to be analytics. If you were not going to give these guys at least 12, 13, 14 minutes, then you may as well not have even done this pre-show match whatsoever. If you're not going to give people ample amount of time and give them the proper opportunity to showcase what they can really do, then you know what? Don't even bother putting them on the show. 9 minutes? These two are worth so much more than 9 minutes. JD McDonough and Sami Zayn can do a hell of a lot more than just a standard 9-minute Monday Night Raw match, and then they put it on a pre-show for Crown Jewel. So the match itself, very standard, very lackluster, and it really didn't do anything. It was just a match to get Sami Zayn on the show and get him a win. That's all. So Sami Zayn gets a win. I'm glad he got a win. But again, nothing special and nothing that I would recommend anyone to go back and rewatch. Now, the main show kicked off in the best way possible. And this was great. It was Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm actually going to give WWE credit here. They bookended the show. They started the show and they ended the show with the 2 world title matches. That I didn't have a single issue with. I actually thought that that was probably the best route that they could go. So I had no problem with them starting the show with Rollins and McIntyre and then ending with Roman Reigns and LA Knight. Although they could have main evented the show with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins based on how good this match was. And go figure. This was the best match of the night and it had the best build. It had the best build going into Crown Jewel. So it was very, very even early on. Rollins with a tope suicida right out of the gate, but he was caught, and Drew McIntyre delivered a belly-to-belly on the floor. Rollins crashed with a thud. Drew McIntyre with a spine buster in the ring. That got a 2 count. Both men traded chops. Drew McIntyre hit a big up kick in the corner. Rollins tried to mount the comeback with a super kick and a running knee. A beautiful sequence right here. A springboard swanton bomb followed up by a springboard moonsault for a 2. Rollins with a Falcon Arrow. Drew McIntyre kicked out. Rollins with a rolling elbow. Drew went up. Rollins came in with a superplex. Drew countered the superplex Falcon Arrow combo by Rollins with a brainbuster for a very close 2 count. Drew, he got out of a buckle bomb and delivered a future shock DDT for yet another close 2 count. Drew got rolled up for a 2 by Rollins. Drew McIntyre was then sent to the floor. Rollins with a suicide dive. Spinebuster on the steps by Drew. And this is where the brutality started to come in by Drew. Drew McIntyre then took Rollins. They were on the steel steps. And Drew McIntyre delivered a sidewalk slam to Seth Rollins on the apron. That looked brutal. Back in the ring, Drew McIntyre continued to focus on Rollins' back. He looked down at Rollins. Rollins slapped Drew McIntyre. And then Drew McIntyre delivered a Glasgow kiss. Rollins with a backflip reversal. He hit a pedigree. Very close 2 count right there. Rollins with a rolling elbow. He went for the stomp. Drew McIntyre caught him with a nasty belly-to-belly throw. He delivered a second one, and then he delivered a neck breaker. He kicked up. He went for the Claymore, but Rollins with a super kick and a stomp. Drew McIntyre kicked out again. Rollins couldn't believe it. Rollins went up for the Phoenix Splash. Rollins missed the Phoenix Splash. Drew McIntyre hit a Claymore. Rollins sold it very nicely. Rollins looked to be out. He was folded up. 1, 2, Seth Rollins kicked out. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Seth Rollins became only the fifth man in history. Only the fifth man in history to kick out of the Claymore. So Seth Rollins kicked out of the Claymore kick. I actually thought Drew McIntyre won the championship. And to be quite honest with you, I would not have minded if Drew McIntyre had won the championship. Really, really, really good near fall right there. Rollins then delivered a pedigree again because the Claymore missed. And then Rollins hit a second stomp. Rollins covered 1, 2, 3, and he beat Drew McIntyre clean. No shenanigans, no exposed turnbuckle, no low blow, no Judgment Day, no heel turn by Drew McIntyre. It was a straight-up wrestling match. It went 18 and a half, 19 minutes, and Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship clean in what was easily the best match on the entire show. Excellent, excellent, excellent match. Right outcome, too. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, Drew McIntyre's got to win. This is the redemption story for Drew McIntyre. Why doesn't Drew McIntyre get the win here? Let me tell you something. I want Drew McIntyre to receive his flowers just as much as the next guy. I want Drew McIntyre to get what he's worked hard for just as much as the next guy. But right now, Drew McIntyre is, A, in the wrong place at the wrong time. We already have a plan set in place for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, as we speak, has so much more left on the table to do with the World Heavyweight Championship. And number two, we don't even know if Drew McIntyre is still going to be with the WWE in the next 6 months. Reportedly, his contract is up. Last time I heard, it was up around WrestleMania 40. It was up around WrestleMania 40, so WrestleMania 40 could very well end up being his last match. If anything, there would be a little part of me that would be shocked if he's not wrestling under Tony Khan by the summer of next year. I would actually be shocked if Drew McIntyre is not on All In London next year on August 25th. I would be shocked. I'm not even bullshitting you. It really seems like Drew McIntyre's got one foot out the door. Even though he's probably one of the more intriguing acts on TV, I don't know. I just can't see him re-signing. It seems as though Drew McIntyre has really had enough with the creative. It's like he's done everything there is to do. He came back, he won the NXT Championship, he won the Royal Rumble, he won the Raw Tag Team titles, he won the WWE Championship twice, he's beaten Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Randy Orton, countless other individuals. If there was a time for Drew McIntyre to be the guy again, then it would have been at Clash at the Castle. It would have been a Clash at the Castle, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen, and ultimately, Drew McIntyre fell to the bloodline just like everybody else. So in the end, it really seems like Drew McIntyre is just looking to finish up with the WWE. Rollins has plenty more left on the table. He's got a potential match with Ricochet, potential match with Sami Zayn, potential match with Randy Orton, right? A potential match with Gunther. But ultimately, his end goal is going to be Damian Priest. Damian Priest is going to end up taking that title from Seth Rollins. And I said numerous amounts of times how it should happen. It should happen at WrestleMania in the same manner in which Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns back at WrestleMania 31 to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We should have Seth Rollins and Gunther. Gunther wins the Rumble. Gunther and Rollins at WrestleMania. Damian Priest cashes in, makes it a triple threat, pins Rollins for the victory. And then, afterwards, Rollins can get his rematch, and then he can get traded to SmackDown. He can get traded to SmackDown, and then we have a picture-perfect shoe-in feud for the spring and the summer of 2024. Imperium and the Judgment Day, ultimately resulting in Damian Priest versus Gunther at Bash in Berlin on August 31st, and boom, Gunther wins the World Heavyweight Championship in his home area of Europe. Simple. Gunther wins, and Gunther doesn't need to win the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. What's the rush? What is the rush with Gunther? He's got how many years left in the business? Simple storytelling. Drew McIntyre, listen, again, I would not have minded if Drew McIntyre had beaten Seth Rollins here. But in the end, Drew McIntyre's just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe we get a rematch. Maybe we get a second match between Drew and Rollins at Survivor Series, and maybe Drew McIntyre takes the title then. I don't agree with that. I don't think that should happen whatsoever. I think Rollins should hold the title going into WrestleMania, and we should get Rollins and Gunther with Damian Priest cashing in. Then Rollins can move over to SmackDown in the draft. We'll see what happens, but the main show started off with easily the best match of the night. This was excellent. Drew McIntyre, easily a guy that anyone would be lucky to have on their roster. Seth Rollins continues to be a very good World Heavyweight Champion. I know a lot of people are trying to spew this narrative that Rollins, he's just not a good World Champion. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Seth Rollins has had a very good World Heavyweight title reign. The only dud in his world title reign was the match with Balor at Money in the Bank. And even then, they made up for it with the match at SummerSlam. And this match with Drew McIntyre, this was easily Rollins' best match out of all of the matches during his world title reign thus far. This was number one. Then I would probably put the Braun Breaker match on NXT Gold Rush at number 2, and then the match with Finn Balor at SummerSlam at number 3. But Seth Rollins is doing very well with the World Heavyweight title. And I really do believe people should start putting some more respect on Seth Rollins. Moving on here to the second match of the show, we had Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Raquel Rodriguez, and Zoe Stark. This was for the WWE Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley, she had an entrance where we had a bunch of Saudi Arabian men with chalices. I'm not really sure what they were going for here, but the entrance was kind of just there. It didn't really enhance Rhea Ripley whatsoever, although Rhea Ripley did look great. Rhea Ripley always looks great. I actually thought that this was going to be a complete disaster. I thought that this was going to be a complete clusterfuck. It was not going to come off well, but in the end, they were actually given a decent amount of time. I think they were given around 11, 12 minutes. And for the 11, 12 minutes that it went, the women actually put together a decent match. It actually came off like a decent Fatal 5-Way. I didn't have an issue with it at all. Now, we all know that women's wrestling is dead in WWE, but these women were actually given the opportunity to go out there and wrestle. It was chaotic. It was all over the place. It was fast-paced. It was high-octane. And in the end, we got a decent Fatal 5-Way that did not turn out to be a disaster. So I can't really sit here and overly complain about this. I'm going to complain. Trust me, I got some rants that I want to get out there. But as far as this match goes, I'm really not going to rant too much on this match. It ended up being a decent match. And in the end, that's all I could have asked for. So we had a brawl right from the start. Nia Jax with a body slam on Zoe Stark. All women started working together against Nia. We had a clothesline to Rhea by Raquel. We had a slam on Starks and a slam on Baszler. Drop kick by Rhea to Nia. Rhea then came in with a nice kick to the head to Nia. Nia with a Fez press. A Fez press and a ground and pound on Rhea Ripley. Nia then with a leg drop. Nia then with a leg drop. And then this was probably my favorite spot in the match outside of the ending. So outside of the ending, this spot was great. Shayna Baszler had a double heel hook submission on Raquel and Rhea Ripley. And then she locked in a Karafuda clutch on Jax. So it was a 3-way submission hold all at once. Shayna Baszler is incredibly underrated. Shayna Baszler is fantastic at what she does. It really pisses me off that Shayna Baszler has not gotten the proper respect that she deserves. If anything, I would have had her beat Liv Morgan at Clash at the Castle. I was actually kind of pissed that Shayna Baszler did not beat Liv Morgan last year at Clash at the Castle. But Shayna Baszler, she is incredibly underappreciated. So good at what she does. So that was a very impressive three-way submission hold. Raquel came in, and Zoe came in with a half and half. Zoe Stark went up, and so did Rhea Ripley. We then had a big Tower of Doom superplex spot. Everyone was down. Nia came in to intervene. Nia then went for the Banzai drop, but Rhea Ripley came in and crotched Nia Jax on the middle turnbuckle. Raquel then with a twisting Vader bomb. Raquel and Rhea then went up top. We had a double boot, and both women were down. Stark came in with a flying crossbody to the floor onto Raquel and Rhea. That was very nicely done. Zoe Stark is kind of underappreciated in her own right. Zoe Stark then came in with a missile dropkick and then the Z360. Nia then broke it up with a very lame kick. Nia Jax looked like she didn't even want to be there. Nia Jax then went for the Banzai drop again, but Raquel came in and delivered a very sloppy-looking Tahana bomb. But to be quite honest with you, I don't blame her. I don't blame her whatsoever because Nia Jax is a rather large human being. So Rhea Ripley was able to save that. In came Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler with a Karafuda clutch on Rhea Ripley. Raquel then booted Baszler. We had a headbutt by Rhea Ripley to Raquel. Riptide onto Shayna Baszler. Stark then saved it. Stark and Rhea Ripley, this was very, very nice. Stark and Rhea Ripley were on the middle rope, and Raquel saw this as an opportunity to cover Shayna Baszler. So Raquel covered Shayna Baszler, and Rhea Ripley, in the heat of the moment, delivered an avalanche riptide to Zoe Stark on top of Raquel as she was pinning Shayna Baszler. And then she pinned Shayna Baszler for the 1-2-3, and Rhea Ripley retains the WWE Women's World Championship. I didn't have an issue with this. I didn't have an issue with this whatsoever. The only thing that I was kind of aggravated about was, I don't want to say that I was aggravated about Rhea Ripley retaining because Rhea Ripley's great at what she does, but Rhea Ripley has not done anything with the championship. Rhea Ripley's title reign has been completely forgettable. And that's not even her fault. That's not even her fault. That's just because of the fact that they have legitimately given her nothing to work with. They've literally given her nothing. This match with Zoe Stark, Nia Jax, Raquel, and Shayna, this was the second best match of her title reign. The best match of her title reign thus far was the match with Natalya on Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. That was legitimately the best part of her championship reign. Outside of that, and then this decent little match, which is ultimately forgettable. This match is ultimately forgettable, and so was the Natalya match. So if anything, she's done nothing memorable. She's done nothing memorable throughout this entire championship title reign. She's done two memorable things this year. She won the Royal Rumble from the #1 spot, and she beat Charlotte Flair in a great women's wrestling match at WrestleMania. But yet some people want to say that she's the #1 woman in all of pro wrestling. No, she's not. No, she's not. Her title reign sucked. The #1 woman in pro wrestling is Athena. Athena has had a much more memorable women's championship reign. She's involved in much better matches than Rhea Ripley. Not to say Rhea Ripley's a bad wrestler, but Athena's been putting on better wrestling matches, better story, better character as well. On top of that, Athena is not a side piece. Rhea Ripley is a side piece in the Judgment Day. The only reason why Rhea Ripley still is over in the way that she is because of her relationship with the Judgment Day, more specifically with Dominic Mysterio. Athena is over because she is a great character, a great women's wrestler, and she's been booked like a beast. Rhea Ripley, although she's been booked like a beast in the sense of she's dominant, she has not had any memorable matches or moments throughout this championship title reign. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says. People going to go on and say that, how many people watch Ring of Honor? I don't give a fuck how many people watch Ring of Honor. I don't give a fuck how many people watch WWE. Monday Night Raw has 1.5 million viewers. Ring of Honor doesn't even have 200. Suck my cock. Suck my cock. Athena is the #1 women's wrestler in the industry, and there is absolutely nothing that is going to negate that fact. Rhea Ripley is a side piece. I'm sorry if that aggravates you, but it's the truth. She's a great women's wrestler, and she's a great character, but her title reign has sucked. This was the second best thing throughout her entire title reign, and that's not saying much. And just because of how bad her title reign has been, not her fault, but just because of how bad her title reign has been, I would have given this to Shayna Baszler. What's the difference? Honest to God, what is the difference? There's no reason why Shayna Baszler could not be doing what Rhea Ripley's doing right now. Matter of fact, Shayna Baszler's already done what Rhea Ripley is doing right now, but better. Shayna Baszler was doing Rhea Ripley before Rhea Ripley was doing Rhea Ripley. Shayna Baszler had probably the most dominant NXT women's title reign minus Asuka. Her title reign back in 2018, 2019 was fantastic. Did it go too long? Yes, but it was still a fantastic title reign. You never see that in the women's division. You never ever see a title reign like what we saw with Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler absolutely knocked it out of the park during her NXT Women's Championship title reign. She outshined what Rhea Ripley is doing right now. And that was only because she was booked better in NXT. Rhea Ripley's booked like trash. But even so, Rhea Ripley still managed to remain as over as she is. But again, what is the difference? Can someone please tell me, what is the difference between if Rhea Ripley holds the championship and Shayna Baszler holds the championship? There's no difference. There's no difference. Women's wrestling's dead. The title does not feel more important on Rhea Ripley. The title does not feel more important on Shayna Baszler. The title does not feel more important on anyone. Matter of fact, Kris Statlander and Athena are both outshining Rhea Ripley. Kris Statlander and Athena are both outshining Rhea Ripley. Kris Statlander and Athena, they're actually probably more prestigious with their title reigns, more so than any women's title in WWE and the AEW Women's World Championship. And Trinity with the Knockouts Women's Championship. And I love Trinity. I think Trinity is great, but Statlander and Athena are the top two women in the industry right now. What is Rhea Ripley doing? What good is she doing? What difference does it make? Truthfully, it didn't matter who won the championship. The title's dead on Rhea Ripley. The title is dead on Shayna Baszler. The title's dead on Nia Jax. The title is dead on Zoe Stark. The title's dead on Raquel Rodriguez. Why? Because women's wrestling in WWE is dead. Completely dead. Whether it be the 3-minute matches or the same faces at the top of the division every single fucking week, women's wrestling is dead. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Sorry if it pisses you off, but that's just the gospel truth. So I would have given it to Shayna Baszler. But in my mind, I knew Rhea Ripley wasn't losing the championship. There's nobody left for her except for Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is the only individual that's left for her. What are you going to do? Have Rhea Ripley go 4 months without defending the championship until we get to WrestleMania? Who else is there for Rhea Ripley? Because realistically speaking, Becky and Rhea is a WrestleMania-worthy match. Now, I would go with Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan's injured, and I don't know when Liv Morgan's coming back. It's a picture-perfect story that they could tell, but I don't know when Liv Morgan's coming back. If anything, I would call up Roxanne Perez. I would call up Roxanne Perez and put her up against Rhea Ripley. Roxanne Perez. Have Roxanne Perez come in and win the Women's Royal Rumble if you want to go that route. If not Bayley, I would not mind if Roxanne, I would not mind if Roxanne Perez gets called up from NXT and she wins the Women's Royal Rumble in a surprise victory. I would not mind that whatsoever. I actually think that would be fantastic. That would actually make Roxanne Perez right from the jump. And Roxanne Perez beats Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. That would be a great underdog story for someone like Roxanne Perez. Who would want to boo Roxanne Perez? Rhea Ripley retains. Decent little match. Rhea Ripley beat every woman on the roster as expected because WWE is lazy. They don't care about women's wrestling. But in the end, the women actually pulled together a fairly decent match. So I can't really complain too much about it. And it did not ruin the flow of the show at all. The flow of the show was actually ruined in the middle of the show. WWE has announced that War Games is now official. War Games is official for Survivor Series, and I'm very, very happy that it is, because War Games made Survivor Series a better show last year. And I have a very, very, very good feeling that it's going to make Survivor Series a better show this year as well. Solo Sikoa, he took on John Cena, who's not the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time is The Undertaker. Let's get that straight. A lot of people have they've kind of been very blah on Solo Sikoa. And listen, I understand why. It's not because he's not good. It's because Solo Sikoa is just kind of stuck in this stationary position right now. Solo Sikoa, throughout 2023, was really starting to come into his own. And after SummerSlam, this Bloodline storyline just completely took a nosedive. That's the problem with Solo. I understand that there's a lot of young talent on the roster. You got Casey Canzaro and Caden Carter. You got Dragon Lee in there. You got Cedric Alexander in there. You got Rhea Ripley in there. You got Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Gunther, and Bronson Reed. I understand. I get it. And I understand that Solo Sikoa has the Bloodline stench on it. And people are just looking for this Bloodline storyline to be over. It should have already been over. Roman Reigns should have lost the title to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and then you could have done everything that you did with Roman and the Bloodline without the world title. Then we could have gotten Jey Uso at SummerSlam versus Roman Reigns Tribal Combat with Jimmy and Solo both helping Jey beat Roman Reigns, and Solo Sikoa could finally hit that spike on Roman Reigns, and then we get a new Bloodline with Solo Sikoa leading Jimmy and Jey Uso going into the fall, and then we could potentially lead into a Solo versus Roman match at Crown Jewel, which took place yesterday. I understand that a lot of people have not really been too high on Solo because of the Bloodline storyline taking a complete dive into the ocean. But Solo Sikoa, he was thrown into the deep end. He was thrown into the deep end right out of the gate, and he was expected to either sink or swim. And every single match that he's had, every single test that was put in front of him, he has passed the test with flying colors. Solo Sikoa was put in a very, very, very tough position, being called up at Clash at the Castle. We didn't know how he was going to favor. He was put in the most important storyline in WWE ever since Bryan Danielson and the Yes Movement, and he has superseded every single expectation that everyone has ever set for him. I understand that the Bloodline storyline has left a very sour taste in everyone's mouth, and I understand that there's a lot of individuals like Gargano, Ciampa, Ripley, Bronson Reed, Dragon Lee, a lot of people that are ahead of Solo Sikoa that are much more exciting to watch in the ring than Solo Sikoa, but every single time Solo Sikoa was given a major test, he absolutely knocked it out of the park. And the match against John Cena at Crown Jewel, that was his biggest test to date. And he passed exceptionally. I think a lot of people need to start giving some credit to Solo Sikoa because he is very good. Now, John Cena. I know a lot of people have been paying close attention to John Cena. I understand that John Cena is not as quick as he used to be, but John Cena, even at 46, 47, John Cena can still perform when he wants to. And on top of that, you need to respect John Cena because he was going out there and doing things that I don't think I've seen him do. He was doing a lot of things out there that I don't think I've seen John Cena do ever. John Cena went in there with Solo Sikoa. I thought that this was going to be a very one-sided affair, and Cena was actually going to win the match. But in the end, John Cena and Solo Sikoa, they worked very well together. The match came off very well. They were given 17 minutes. There were no botches. There were no fuck-ups, no screw-ups. Everything went off perfectly. Everything went off as good as it could possibly go. And Solo Sikoa came out of this match looking like an absolute beast. Solo Sikoa came out of this match looking a hell of a lot better than he did going into this match. And John Cena, he knows what needs to be done to get the new talent over. And this was a very, very good performance by both men. So Cena, He was actually trying to out-wrestle Solo early on. John Cena had chance of Let's Go Cena going. John Cena was working on the right arm. He was wrenching on the right arm, specifically the right hand. He was trying to weaken the thumb. He was trying to take the Samoan spike out of the equation. So that came into play as the match went on. Cena then caught a headbutt by Solo. Solo with a super kick that got a 2. Cena dodged the spike and locked in Solo in a crossface. Now, Michael Cole called it an STF. It was not an STF. It was a crossface. STF involves the leg. So Solo got out of it. Solo with a big clothesline. Cena was then hung in the Tree of Woe. This was actually very nice right here. Cena was hung in the Tree of Woe, and Solo with a flying headbutt through the air while John Cena was in the Tree of Woe position. That looked very nice. That got a 2. Solo with a belly-to-belly. That got a 2. Hip attack. Cena tried to mount the comeback with the shoulder tackles. He hit the back suplex. 5-knuckle shuffle. Solo then dodged the AA and hit a Samoan drop for a 2. Cena then went up to the top and delivered a very nice crossbody for a 2. Solo with another super kick. Cena bounced off the ropes. He dodged the spike. And for the first time ever, I don't think I've ever seen this before, John Cena delivered a choke slam to Solo Sikoa. I don't think I've ever seen John Cena pull out a choke slam in my life. And the crazy thing about it is he actually did it very, very well. Cena actually pulled out a very nice looking choke slam. It was smooth, it was crisp, and it was clean. Choke slam. Crowd thought that was it. Solo kicked out. Cena and Solo traded blows back and forth. Solo with the spinning Solo. Cena blocked the spike. Cena with an STF. It was in deep. Solo got to the ropes. Solo then managed to hit the spike, but he couldn't capitalize because of the injured hand. Solo then shook it off, delivered a second spike. Solo then went for a third spike. He got it. Now, I was actually getting a little nervous because I actually thought that at any point in time, John Cena was going to reverse one of these spikes. He was going to hit the AA, and he was going to win. That wasn't the case. Solo Sikoa then was holding John Cena's head up. Cena was just dead weight. Solo with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 10 Samoan spikes. 10 Samoan spikes. No remorse. No mercy whatsoever. Solo Sikoa pins John Cena 1, 2, 3, and Solo Sikoa gets the biggest win of his career by far. And I'm actually going to go on record and say that this match with Solo was actually better than the match with John Cena and Austin Theory at WrestleMania earlier this year. I don't even know how that's possible, because Austin Theory is actually a better wrestler than Solo Sikoa. But Solo Sikoa and John Cena, this did exactly what it needed to do. Very good performance by both men. Cena may not be as quick as he once was, but he can still perform when he needs to. And Solo Sikoa and his stock rose tenfold because of this match with John Cena. Now, afterwards, Cena woke up. He received a standing ovation. Crowd was chanting, "Thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena." And that was pretty much it. Cena is not retiring. Not yet. Cena's not retiring. I don't know when he's going to retire, but there are certainly a little more material to do. A little more material to do for John Cena before he ends up hanging it up. He could do a match with Gunther. He could do a match with Seth Rollins, chase number 17. If anything, I would actually not prefer that he chase 17. I actually would like to see him in a match with Gunther. I would much rather see him in a match with Gunther. I would much rather see him in a match with Cody. Maybe we see Cody and John Cena at SummerSlam. Maybe we see Cody and John Cena at SummerSlam next year. Because Cody's inevitably going to beat Roman. He's got it. There's literally nobody else. Now, it's not going to feel as special. It's not going to feel as impactful. But Cody Rhodes needs to beat Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes needs to beat him. We'll see what happens, but in the end, John Cena, he is not retiring, and I do not see John Cena hanging it up after this one match. Not against Solo. I don't see it happening. Maybe against Cody. Maybe he fails to win the title against Cody. And then maybe that is when he retires. Maybe Cody Rhodes will have on his resume, he is the man that retired John Cena. This is where the show started to take a nosedive. I don't know why this was even on the show. The Miz came out to host a Miz TV segment, completely unadvertised. He interviewed Abraham Al-Hajar. I have absolutely no idea who this Saudi Arabian actor is. He was a complete nobody to me. No idea who the fuck this guy is. No idea where this was going. Never heard of this guy. So all of a sudden, this was interrupted by Grayson Waller. And Grayson Waller pretty much says, this isn't 2005 anymore. Miz says, this is Grayson Waller effect. This is more like Australian public access. So Abraham pretty much supported The Miz with this new babyface character that The Miz is apparently portraying. So in the end, The Miz ended up delivering a skull-crushing finale on Waller, and then Abraham delivered the people's elbow, or the Saudi Arabian elbow, so to speak. I don't understand why this was even on the show. If you needed to put this on the show, you could have easily have put this on the pre-show. If anything, you should have taken Sami Zayn and JD McDonough off of the show, and you should have put this on the pre-show, because this took time away from other matches on the show. This took time away from Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. They only got 11 minutes. They could have gotten 15, 16 minutes. I don't understand why we needed to have this Miz TV talk show segment on the show, because this segment actually screwed up the show. This segment took the crowd out of the show. This segment actually ruined the flow of the show, and the next two matches following this segment were very disappointing. Now, it's not just because of this segment. The other two matches were disappointing for other reasons, which we're going to get into, but holy fuck, this was not needed whatsoever. I understand you want to be mainstream and you want to get the Hollywood actors and the people that are popular in Saudi Arabia in there. If this needed to happen, should have been on the pre-show. It should have been on the pre-show, should not have been on the main show. Completely and utterly unnecessary. Completely and utterly unnecessary, and it was a complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio. This is for the United States Championship. I was actually looking forward to this match. And I was not satisfied. This match was not satisfying whatsoever. It was not objectively satisfying. Was it a bad match? No. No, it wasn't a bad match. It's impossible for Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul to have a bad match. It's impossible. The match wasn't bad, but I don't know if you guys have noticed this, and I noticed this with Bianca and Io as well. WWE and their match production absolutely sucks dick. WWE's match production skills, I don't know who's producing these matches. I don't know who gives the okay, but some of the matches that WWE produces are way too fucking slow. It's like I'm watching paint dry. It's like I'm watching 4 minutes of a wrist lock, then I'm watching 3 minutes of a knee bar, and then I'm watching 60 seconds of someone standing around going, I can't believe he kicked out, after he kicked out of a basic body slam. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but we need to pick up the pace. We really need to pick up the pace when it comes to these matches, especially on pay-per-views. I don't know who is producing these matches for WWE. I'm not sure if it's Jason Jordan or Michael P.S. Hayes or Tyson Kidd. I don't know who it is, but WWE's match production, half the time, absolutely sucks. These matches are produced to go way too slow, way too many rest holds, way too much standing around, way too much shocked faces every single time someone kicks out of a pin. I'm not saying that everyone needs to wrestle a Rey Fenix type of match and bounce off the ropes. I'm not looking for a match that we saw on Rampage between Vikingo, Commander, and Penta on Rampage. I'm not looking for that. That match doesn't need to be every single match on the show, but when you're on a pay-per-view, I expect more high-octane, fast-paced, intense offense. I don't expect to watch a match as if I'm watching a boxing match. That shit is boring. Pick up the pace. It was very, very disappointing to watch Logan Paul, who I have seen grow into probably the greatest celebrity pro wrestler in the history of the business. He had a great match with Seth Rollins, great match with Ricochet, great match with Roman Reigns. It's unbelievable. It's like I was watching night and day. This match with Rey Mysterio, I don't know what happened. And people do not blame Rey Mysterio. This is not on Rey Mysterio whatsoever. Because Logan Paul has worked with people that are up there. Ricochet is approaching 40. Roman Reigns is approaching 40. Rey Mysterio, he may be a few years younger than those guys, but Rey Mysterio, he could still perform at a high level. Rey Mysterio just put on an excellent match with Santos Escobar for the United States Championship on SmackDown not that long ago. So I'm not sure where you're getting the idea that it's Rey Mysterio's fault. I'm not blaming Rey Mysterio or Logan Paul. I blame WWE production. I blame the people that made this match. I blame the people that produced this match from start to finish. Way too slow, way too methodical. They needed to pick up the pace. Not to say it was a bad match. It was a good match. But the fact that it was that slow and the crowd was taken out of it because of that horrible Miz TV Grayson Waller segment, it just came off disappointing. So Rey Mysterio had the advantage early on with a crossbody. Paul rolled through. Paul then with a rolling senton into a springboard moonsault. He got some air on the springboard moonsault. So that I will give credit to Logan Paul for. Logan Paul's an athlete. So Logan Paul tried to slow the pace down with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. We had a military press by Logan Paul, an ultimate splash, so paying tribute to the Ultimate Warrior. Logan Paul then with a bear hug and a Canadian backbreaker. So Logan Paul was really trying to make sure Rey Mysterio did not pick up the pace. Paul then sent himself into the post. Rey Mysterio with a suicide dive through the ropes on Logan Paul. We had a crossbody for a 2. A couple of roll-ups for a 2. Logan Paul then with a buckshot lariat. That got a 2 count. Logan Paul was then wrestled to the ground into a crossface by Rey Mysterio. You see, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know who produced this, but Rey Mysterio doing a crossface, I have no problem with mixing it up every now and then, but when I'm watching Rey Mysterio, I don't want to feel like I'm watching Zack Sabre Jr. I want to watch Rey Mysterio. I want to see him fly. I want to see him do tilt-a-whirl DDTs and planches and diving splashes off the top rope. I don't want to watch a match in which Rey Mysterio is attempting submission holds. Boring. So Logan Paul got to the ropes. Paul then caught Rey Mysterio in a power slam. We then had a beautiful, this was a great spot right here, moonsault power slam by Logan Paul. That got a 2 count. Nice near fall. Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio then were in a position where Rey was on the mat. Paul went for the frog splash, but he missed. Rey Mysterio had the 619, but blocked him. Rey Mysterio then with a sunset flip powerbomb off of the middle rope. Code red for a 2. One of Logan Paul's buddies then slid him brass knuckles. And Rey Mysterio knocked the brass knuckles out of Logan Paul's hand. All of a sudden, Santos Escobar showed up, and he took the brass knuckles, put them on the apron, and chased Logan Paul's friend out of ringside. Logan Paul then took the brass knuckles, unbeknownst to the referee. Rey Mysterio hit the 619. Logan Paul with the titanium brass knuckles punch. Logan Paul pins Rey Mysterio and wins the United States Championship. Not a bad match. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh yeah, it sucked, because it doesn't. If I told you that it sucked and it was a terrible match, then I would not be being objective. When it comes to DJ Storms, I always speak objectively, whether people want to admit it or not, whether people like it or not, whether people understand it or not. Everything that comes out of my mouth is objective. I don't speak subjectively. I'm always here to drop the facts. Pure, unadulterated, unfiltered facts. The match was not bad, but it was the weakest Logan Paul match that we've ever seen. And that was simply because of terrible match production. Now listen, I know a lot of people are wondering, why is Logan Paul the United States champion? Why is he the United States champion? It's quite simple. Now, I have shit on WWE for this numerous amounts of times, and I will continue to shit on WWE for this. WWE, it doesn't matter who's running the show, whether it be Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon, or Triple H, WWE is run by a bunch of attention-seeking whores. WWE is a whore for clicks, for likes, for views, for traction, for articles. They are a whore when it comes to attention. Any type of social media traction or sports article headlines that they can get, they are going to do what they need to do to get it. Because WWE is too lazy to actually put some effort into the talent that they have to generate some actual interest in their product. See, every single time WWE gets these social media headlines and these likes and these clicks and these views and all of these ESPN headlines, all of this shit, the WWE cocksuckers come out of the gate and they say, oh, you see how popular WWE is? No, they're not. See, that is not genuine traction. That is not genuine attention. Genuine attention is using the talent that you have to generate great ratings, great feedback, likes, views, clicks, whatever it may be. WWE is just too lazy to actually put effort into the full-time talent that they have in order to gain natural and genuine attention. They're just looking for quick, right out of the gate, and pretty much as much attention as possible. They're looking for attention that's quick. They're looking for attention that is on the spot. They're looking for quick, short-term attention that they can get with one move. And that's exactly what they did with Logan Paul, because Logan Paul is going to get all of these headlines on social media. Whether he goes to a boxing match, he's going to wear the United States Championship. Logan Paul is going to get WWE views, clicks, likes, and all this social media traction, whether it's genuine or not. That's unfortunately what WWE is. WWE is run by attention-seeking whores. Now, I have no problem with Logan Paul winning the United States Championship for a very specific reason, because Logan Paul winning the United States Championship does open up the door for a lot of great material going forward. A potential match with Ricochet at Survivor Series for the United States Championship. A match with Kevin Owens for the United States Championship, which was teased on SmackDown. A match with LA Knight for the United States title at WrestleMania. And then LA Knight could ultimately get the United States title, and he'll finally get his just due after all the hard work he has put in to get himself over. But the thing that pisses me off is the fact that WWE had a picture-perfect storyline in place with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Now, I get it. Rey Mysterio should have never been the United States champion to begin with. It should have been LA Knight and Austin Theory at SummerSlam, and LA Knight should have been the United States champion. It would have saved us Logan Paul, it would have saved us Rey Mysterio, and it would have saved us the match with LA Knight and Roman Reigns where LA Knight lost his momentum. It would have saved us from all of that. But at least with Rey Mysterio, they had a picture-perfect storyline where Santos would get jealous, Santos would turn heel, and we get Santos versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship at some point in the future. I don't know when, but it would have been some point in the future, and Santos would have gotten a big moment. But ultimately, WWE does not know how to build new stars. Whether it be Triple H, whether it be Vince, whether it be Bruce, WWE is allergic to building up new stars. The thing that pissed me off is they pretty much dropped the Rey Mysterio Santos Escobar storyline. They could still do it. But it's going to be without the title. But if anything, it should have been with the title, because Santos would have gotten a big moment, and it would have made Santos into a top-tier athlete, and it would have made Santos more credible in the eyes of the audience. You see, I understand if it's 1 or 2 weeks and you want to move in a different direction, but this was going on for 3 months. And then they do a complete 180 and give Logan Paul the United States Championship. Meanwhile, all of this could have been saved if you would have just given LA Knight the United States title like he should have won. Now we have to wait another 5-6 more months for LA Knight to win the championship that he should have won in August at SummerSlam. That's the frustrating part. The frustrating part is not that Logan Paul is the United States champion just as it is. That's not the frustrating part. The frustrating part is WWE could have easily avoided all of these shenanigans if they had just given the right man the United States championship last August. That is what pissed me off. And then to top it all off, WWE pretty much shafted Santos Escobar and the big moment that he could have had because Logan Paul is now the United States champion. Wasn't a bad match. Wasn't a bad match at all. But it was a weak Logan Paul match based on the standards that we've seen him perform at. It was a weak Logan Paul match. And ultimately, it just further adds on top of the shit booking that we saw when Vince was in charge before Triple H was given the keys to the kingdom by Ari Emanuel. It further adds on top of the shit booking we saw last August and the fact that it should have been LA Knight taking the title from Austin Theory. I mean, there's really nothing more to say there. WWE's a bunch of attention-seeking whores, and they put the title on Logan Paul. But Logan Paul is going to do that title good because we will see some great material with Logan Paul in the United States title. A match with Kevin Owens, a match with Ricochet, a match with LA Knight. And then at WrestleMania, LA Knight will finally get what he deserves. But man, this match was not up to par. Very, very disappointing. So was the next match too. Next match was Bianca and Io. And after this, I'm actually going to dive into something right now. Something that WWE needs to fix because WWE's got a problem. So once again, not a bad match, but again, way too slow. Way too goddamn slow. I don't know what exactly they were doing. I'm not sure if it's the fact that Bianca Belair she's just very, very stale and people don't want to see her in the title picture anymore. I'm not sure if it was just the fact that the crowd was just waiting for Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns' matches. I don't know. But again, I'm going to chalk this up to poor production. You had Io Sky in there working on Bianca's leg. I don't want to see Io Sky using a knee bar on Bianca Belair. I want to see Io Sky doing springboard drop kicks, moonsaults, and Spanish flies. That's what I want to see from Io Sky. Bianca Belair, I want to see her doing military press power slams and 450s. I don't want to see knee bars and wrist locks. Bianca Belair should be coming right out of the gate, attacking Io Sky with all purpose because they put her out. And here you have submission holds in a match that should be high intensity. Stupid. So Belair with a vertical suplex and a handspring moonsault for a 2. We had a dragon screw, and Io worked on the leg. Again, knee bar and leg locks, slowing the pace down. Pass me the pillow. Io missed a drop kick. Bianca with a fallaway slam and a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Bianca was then put in a stretch muffler. Again, another submission hold. Another stupid submission hold. Give me more high-octane, fast-paced offense. It's a fucking pay-per-view, not a house show. So Io then with a big German suplex on Bianca. Bianca with an alley-oop facebuster. Bianca went up top, but again, Bayley came out. Yeah, the same woman that Bianca put through the announce table. Same woman that Bianca put through the announce table on SmackDown the night prior. She's here in Crown Jewel. So Io tried for the advantage. Io got out of the KOD, and Bianca went for the moonsault. Io got the knees up, knees to the midsection. Io then went up, big moonsault to the floor. Bianca Belair back in the ring, delivered a spine buster for a 2. Io then with a springboard. She was caught into a glam slam. Bayley distracted the ref. She got punched out by Bianca. Bianca with a pescado on Bayley. Io then accidentally caught Bayley with a punch. All of a sudden, while Bayley was about to get put through the table again, Io was distracting the referee. All of a sudden, Kairi Sane Kairi Sane came out of nowhere and she hit a spinning back fist on Bianca. She then delivered a flying knee to Bianca off the top. Bianca then beat the count into the ring, and Io hit the beautiful moonsault that she does and retained the women's championship 1, 2, 3. First of all, I'm very, very happy that Kairi Sane is back. And it just adds to the story that they're telling with Io and Damage Control, because Damage Control is a complete failure. But the story here would be Bayley and Io for the women's championship with Io going over. That's the story. And if you want to have Bayley win the women's Royal Rumble, I would not mind that whatsoever. Now with Kairi coming back, Kairi in the mix here has just thrown a wrench into the Royal Rumble plans. Maybe Kairi wins the Royal Rumble. Maybe we get Kairi and Io at WrestleMania. I wouldn't mind that at all. I'm not sure where this is going, but maybe we see a women's War Games. I wouldn't want to see a women's War Games, to be quite honest with you, because the women's division right now is completely dead in the water. Like I've said in the beginning of the stream, the women's division as we speak right now is in no position to have a War Games. If anything, what I would do, if you want to mix the old school with the new school, you could easily have alternating matches for the men and the women. One year we could have a women's Survivor Series elimination match and a men's War Games match, and then the next year we could have a women's War Games match and a men's Survivor Series tag team match. That would actually be a lot better than just doing 2 War Games matches for the sake of it. You see, War Games actually feels necessary for the men because you got the Judgment Day and the Bloodline, then you got Cody, you got LA Knight, you got Sammy, you got Jey Uso and Randy Orton. If Randy Orton decides to come back, maybe AJ Styles jumps into the mix. That would be fine. That would actually be very good. So I have no problem with that. But the women's division does not feel like it's worthy of a War Games right now. Last year, it actually felt it because we had Damage Control and we had Bianca and her team, and they needed to take out Damage Control, and they brought back Becky Lynch, They brought back Becky Lynch. So I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all. But this year, what have the women done to warrant a War Games? Nothing. So if anything, I would much rather see a Survivor Series elimination style tag team match. That was the good part. Also, another good part, Io retained. Io should have retained. Io should not be losing the championship at any given point as of right now. Io needs a long title reign. But that's where the positivity stops. I'm not sure what is going on, but besides match placement and besides the terrible match production, because obviously this match was poorly produced, just like Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio, very poorly produced. The WWE has a major, major problem with their heels. The WWE has a major problem with their heels, and the WWE has a major problem with booking the endings to matches. I don't know where this is coming from, but WWE really is allergic to creativity. WWE is just flat out lazy when it comes to a lot of their heel champions. Roman, Io, and Logan Paul, especially Logan Paul, even when they're not a champion, the endings to their matches, it's the same shit every time. Logan Paul's last 2 matches were won via brass knuckles. Why does Logan Paul need the brass knuckles? He didn't need the brass knuckles to beat Rey Mysterio the first time at WrestleMania 38. He didn't need the brass knuckles to beat The Miz at SummerSlam. Why did he need the brass knuckles to beat Ricochet? Why did he need the brass knuckles to beat Rey Mysterio this time around? What about Io? Io Sky, same exact ending to every single title defense. Damage Control gets involved. Bayley inserts herself into the fray, distracts the ref. Some type of shenanigans go down. Thanks to Damage Control, Io Sky retains the championship. This is the 4th title defense. This is the 4th title defense in the last month and a half in which we saw the same exact ending to Io Sky's title defenses. Damage Control gets involved, Bayley gets involved, and Io Sky retains the women's championship. She did it against Asuka. She did it against Charlotte. She did it against Bianca. Roman Reigns, I mean, that's self-explanatory. Every single Roman Reigns match is the same fucking match over and over and over again. Roman Reigns and his opponent start the match. They go back and forth and back and forth. Roman Reigns hits a spear. His opponent kicks out. The bloodline gets involved. The opponent hits their finisher on Roman. Roman kicks out. Bloodline gets involved again. Spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns retains. It's the same fucking ending every single time. And then people want to try and justify this and say, well, they're heels. They're heels. So they're supposed to cheat. Heel. Where is it written in the rule book that heels need to cheat every fucking match? You see, I don't know if you realize this, but there should be a motto with every single wrestling promoter. Ultimately, the end goal of a wrestling promoter, when it comes to their roster as a whole, their roster should be as credible as possible. A promoter for a wrestling promotion should strive to make every single individual on that roster as credible as they can be. When you cheat over and over and over again, and you have the same fucking ending to your match every single time, that diminishes your credibility. You see, a heel, I don't know if you know this, but when a heel wins clean, when a heel wins on his own, a heel actually enhances their credibility. And when someone finally beats the heel, the fact that they have won clean so many times, when someone inevitably beats the heel, that makes the babyface victory that much more important. It's like I'm watching Kevin Owens and his Universal title reign. It's like I'm watching Kevin Owens and his Universal title reign when I look at Io Sky. Every single fucking title defense, when Kevin Owens was the Universal Champion, Chris Jericho always got involved, making him look like he couldn't get the job done on his own. Io Sky, Bayley gets involved every single fucking time. Enough of the bullshit. Do not give me the excuse that, oh, they're heels. I don't give a fuck. Win matches clean. And if you have to have them cheat, if you have to have an individual cheat, at least give us a different fucking ending. At least give us something different. Look at MJF. MJF doesn't need to cheat in every match. He didn't have to cheat when he beat Ethan Page on Collision back in July to retain the world title. He also didn't have to cheat when he beat Kenny Omega on Collision a few weeks ago. He beat Kenny Omega clean. But MJF, when he was a heel, when he cheats, he always comes up with a new creative way to get things done. It's never the same ending every single time. Look at what happened back at Revolution in the Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson. MJF, he used an air tank and he hit Bryan Danielson with it behind the referee's back, and he locked Bryan Danielson in a crossface, and Bryan Danielson tapped out. He gave us a different ending. What about the Pillars Fatal 4-Way? That was no DQ. Everything was within the rules with what he did, but MJF, he put the world title on top of Jack Perry. Darby Allin went up to the top rope to deliver a coffin drop. He coffin dropped the title and knocked himself out, and MJF pinned Darby Allin to retain. They gave us a different ending. What about his title defense against Samoa Joe? Look at what happened with Joe. He cheated, but he took the wrist tape and he wrapped it around Joe's neck and choked Joe out with the wrist tape. He didn't have to use the Dynamite Diamond ring. They gave us a different ending. That's all I ask. Just do not have them cheat over and over again. And if you're going to have them cheat, give us a different ending. Please. That's all I ask. Some creativity. I, honest to God, do not know why WWE needs to book a heel or any superstar at that to win in the same exact manner every single match. Io Sky wins the same exact way every single time with Bayley getting involved. Roman retains the title every single time with the Bloodline getting involved. Give us a different ending. Again, MJF, he doesn't need to cheat every single match, but when he does cheat, he comes up with different endings. He choked Samoa Joe out with his wrist tape. He had Darby Allin coffin drop the AEW World title and pinned him for the win. He used an air tank against Bryan Danielson. At least give us some creativity. And if you give us some creativity, more people would be interested in said character, and they would be waiting with bated breath to see, okay, how are they going to get out of this situation? That's all I ask. All I ask is for some form of creativity. That's all that I want. Aaron Ziegler. No, I'm not a hater. I'm not an AEW mark. If you actually paid attention, you fucking retard, you would actually know that I actually said that WWE TV was actually better than AEW TV this week. I actually called Dynamite a very lackluster show this week. And I said that Rampage was only a 2-match show. I even said last night on Twitter that Collision was overstuffed. No, I'm not a hater. I just speak the facts. If you don't like what I say, Aaron Ziegler, suck a rhino dick. Because I don't care. I am right and you are wrong. You are a fucking schmuck. And I'm the guy that you're going to end up continuing to watch because you cannot help but hang from my nuts. And you cannot help but hang on every single word that I say because you know that everything I say is pure, unadulterated facts. There you go. Dee Dylan, one of the moderators, take care of this fucking piece of shit for me. Get him out. Get him out of the chat. Block him. He is never to be seen ever again. Fucking retard you are. The 2 matches sucked. Okay? Bianca and Io and Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio were very disappointing. The endings were repetitive and the matches were way too slow. I'm sorry. Those are the facts. Get the fuck over it. Get over it. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. This is where things actually started to get a little bit better. This is where things started to get a little bit better. I don't know how anyone was watching the other 2 matches and then they watched Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes and they thought to themselves, yeah, Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio and Bianca Belair and Io Sky were paced really well. Look at what Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes did. You see what they did? They weren't wrestling like Rey Fenix. They weren't wrestling like Rey Fenix, but they gave us a high-octane, fast-paced match. A fast-paced match in which both men were bringing out more intensity like as the minutes went on. More intensity as the minutes went on. One after the other. It was intense. It felt like these two were meant to fight. Felt like they were meant to fight. It felt like they legitimately hated each other. It felt like there was legit heat between the two. And that's what I want to see. I want to see intensity. I want to see fast-paced. I want to see high-octane offense. And Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes, for the 11 minutes that it went, they put on a very good match. Matter of fact, it was probably the second best match on the show. It was probably the second best match on the show. So, Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest, the brawl started right out of the gate. And Damian Priest with some stiff strikes and a discus punch, flatliner for a 2. The crowd was actually coming alive. And you know why they were coming alive? Because it was fast-paced and high-octane. You see what happens when the production of the match is correct? This is how every pay-per-view match should be. Intense, lively. So Priest came in with a big clothesline. Priest then went to put Cody through the announce table. Cody Rhodes came back with a suicide dive. Cody had Priest up on the table. Priest with a reckoning on the announce table. The crowd was chanting, "You suck, you suck." Cody then with a crossroads on Priest, but he could not capitalize. Out of nowhere, out came Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Damian Priest hit the South of Heaven choke slam, but Cody Rhodes ended up kicking out. All of a sudden, out came Dominic Mysterio with a steel chair. Jey Uso came out of nowhere with a super kick to Dom, a super kick to Balor, and a super kick to JD. He then took the chair and he ran everyone off. So it was one-on-one. We then had a roll-up for a 2. Cody then with the Cody Cutter. A little flip-flop and fly connects, but Damian Priest kicked out. We had a big kick by Priest. Super kick by Cody. Massive, and I mean a massive Cody Cutter, which looked great. Damian Priest kicked out again. Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest, they went back and forth and back and forth. Cody Rhodes locked in Damian Priest into a crossroads, and he then kept the grip. He kept it in. Crossroads number 1. Crossroads number 2. Crossroads number 3. And it took 3 crossroads, and that was it. Cody Rhodes gets the win over Damian Priest in a very good match. Easily the best match since Rollins and McIntyre kicked off the show, and we had the right outcome. Cody Rhodes gets the win. But one thing I want to say before I move on to the main event, I want to talk about Damian Priest for a little bit. Damian Priest, I know a lot of people are sick of the Judgment Day. I know a lot of people have a very, very sour taste in their mouths when it comes to the Judgment Day because it's the same fucking thing over and over and over and over again with the Judgment Day, with Rhea Ripley getting involved and, Finn Balor getting involved and JD McDonough getting involved. It's the same thing every single fucking time. It's the same thing every single fucking time simply because of the fact that WWE, like I said earlier, they are just completely allergic to creativity. But Damian Priest does not get the credit that he deserves as an in-ring talent. He really doesn't. I understand that he may not be the best. He may not be the number 1 pro wrestler on the planet. He may not be an MJF. He's not a Seth Rollins. He's not a Dragon Lee. He's not a Wardlow. I understand. But in the end, when it comes to Damian Priest, you put him in the ring against anyone. You put him in the ring against anyone, and he will give you a very good match. He will go in there, and he will work. Damian Priest knows what he's doing in the ring. He comes off great. Everything about Damian Priest just screams superstar. And I think it's about time that a lot of people start putting some respect on Damian Priest's name. Because he went in there with Cody and he put on one of the best matches on the show. Very, very, very good stuff with both Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. Very good performance. And this match definitely helped bring the show back up a bit. LA Knight and Roman Reigns. The main event of Crown Jewel. This was for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. My takes on this match were rather polarizing to a lot of individuals. To be quite honest with you, I don't give a fuck what's polarizing and what's not. It's only polarizing because people don't want to accept the truth. Again, I speak objectively, not subjectively. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be dropping a lot of objectivity on Jay Leto this Saturday on PWP Nation's World of Wrestling. But a lot of people did not like what I have to say. I quite frankly don't give a shit because everything that I said rang true here. Everything that I said rang true here. We'll go over the match and then we're going to discuss the fallout. So LA Knight and Roman Reigns, they started out the match very, very fast-paced. LA Knight with a neck breaker right out of the gate. Roman Reigns with a back elbow. LA Knight then with a slingshot shoulder tackle for a 2. A big slam. Paul Heyman tried to get involved. And LA Knight then hit a wrecking ball drop kick and a flying clothesline off the apron. LA Knight then took apart the announce table. And LA Knight was then sent face first into the steps. Roman Reigns then drove him into the steps again. Roman Reigns then was hit with a nice suplex for a 1 count. We then had a big flying clothesline by Roman. The crowd then started chanting asshole at Roman Reigns. LA Knight then, with a DDT, he started to trade blows with Roman Reigns. Big flying lariat, a Russian leg sweep, and a DDT by LA Knight. We had a running knee in the corner and a Uranagi by Roman Reigns for a 2. LA Knight then with a torture rack neck breaker. That got a 2 count. Roman Reigns then with a Superman punch. LA Knight kicked out. LA Knight then dodged the spear. Roman Reigns was taken up top. Roman Reigns shoved LA Knight off the top. LA Knight leaped up to the top with a superplex. LA Knight then with the LA Knight elbow drop. And that got a 2 count. Solo Sikoa came out, distracted the ref. And Jimmy Uso then came in and dragged Roman Reigns out of the ring. LA Knight then tried to go for Jimmy. And Roman Reigns hit a Superman punch and a spear. LA Knight kicked out of the spear. The crowd was chanting, Roman sucks, Roman sucks. Roman Reigns locked in the guillotine. LA Knight got out of it. LA Knight then hit the BFT, and Jimmy Uso put Roman's foot on the rope. LA Knight, like a complete idiot, like a Nimrod, went after Jimmy Uso. He put him through the announce table with a back suplex. Roman Reigns then speared LA Knight through the barricade. Back in the ring, Roman Reigns with a spear, and Roman Reigns retains the undisputed Universal Championship 1, 2, 3. Was it a great match? Yes. Yes, it was a very great match. LA Knight showed everyone that he can hang. I already knew that he can hang. I already knew that LA Knight was a main event pro wrestler, but if this didn't solidify that LA Knight was a main event pro wrestler, I don't know what will. Now it's where I'm going to have to lay the facts down on you. Now it's where objectivity is going to come crashing down on all of you. Is LA Knight buried? No. LA Knight is not buried. Tiffany Stratton was buried. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Tiffany Stratton was completely fucking buried. No matter how you want to fucking look at it, Tiffany Stratton is worthless right now. Tiffany Stratton is completely buried. There is nothing that Tiffany Stratton has going right now. She's feuding with fucking Fallon Henley while Fallon Henley is dressing up as her. So how good is Tiffany Stratton looking after her 2 losses to Becky Lynch? What is she doing? She hasn't wrestled a single match in over a month. She hasn't wrestled a single match in over a month, and all she's doing is feuding with an undercard scrub named Fallon Henley, who is all looks and no skill whatsoever. So how good is Tiffany Stratton really looking? Tiffany Stratton was buried. LA Knight is not buried. But I don't care what anyone wants to say. I don't care how you want to look at it. LA Knight is ruined. More specifically, his momentum and his aura is ruined. I don't give a fuck how you want to look at it, how you want to slice it, what kind of excuses you want to bring up. LA Knight is ruined. You want to know why? Simple. Momentum. Now, momentum is something that every pro wrestler is striving for here, right? There's a big difference between LA Knight then and LA Knight now. Some people were coming at me and saying that, well, what about when he lost to Bray Wyatt? What about when he lost to Bray Wyatt? You didn't say that he was ruined then. Why are you saying that LA Knight, yeah, he's ruined now because he lost to Roman Reigns? The difference between LA Knight then and LA Knight now has to do with momentum. Because, see, this is where I come in. Because people love to look at things on the surface and they don't like to critically think. People would much rather accept what they are given, bend over, and take that shit 8 inches up their ass, rather than explaining to themselves what exactly is going on. The difference between LA Knight then and LA Knight now consists of his momentum. Because you see, back when LA Knight was feuding with Bray Wyatt, LA Knight was trying to gain momentum. When it comes to gaining momentum, it doesn't matter whether it's a win whether it's a loss, whether it's a match, whether it's a promo, no matter what it may be, you can gain momentum in any way, shape, or form. When it comes to gaining momentum, it doesn't matter if you win or you lose. Because in that loss, LA Knight gained a lot of momentum. LA Knight gained a hell of a lot of momentum in that loss. He actually gained more momentum than Bray Wyatt did in a win. And the reason being was because Bray Wyatt was completely and utterly booked poorly upon his in-ring return. He was booked completely poorly upon his in-ring return, and we barely got 5 minutes of a match at the Royal Rumble in the pitch black match. LA Knight gained momentum in defeat. You can gain momentum in any way, shape, or form, whether you win or you lose. That was LA Knight then. But LA Knight now is trying to maintain his momentum. And I'm going to say this very, very slow so you understand, you fucking retards. When it comes to maintaining momentum, momentum is maintained by winning. It's quite simple. When it comes to maintaining momentum, you have to win matches. Momentum is lost by losing. Every time that you lose, your momentum goes like this. Unless you are a John Cena, you're a Roman Reigns, you're a Seth Rollins, unless you are a Randy Orton, people like that, unless you are of that nature and you are made individuals, a Goldberg, a Brock Lesnar, an Undertaker, doesn't matter. Kenny Omega, he's a made man. Young Bucks, a made tag team. Chris Jericho, made man. Bryan Danielson, made man. Unless you are a made man or a made woman, momentum is always lost when you take a pinfall or submission loss. Any loss, your momentum is ruined, and you are knocked down several pegs, and you don't have the same aura that you did prior to the loss. That's the difference. Gaining momentum can be done in any way, shape, or form, whether it be a win or a loss. Maintaining momentum only can be done by winning. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but those are facts. Those are not opinions. Those are facts. And that's something that a lot of you are going to have to get through your thick fucking skulls. I don't care if you like it or you don't like it. LA Knight is ruined. He will not feel the same after this loss against Roman Reigns. We all thought the same thing for Cody. Oh yeah, Cody's going to be fine. Yeah, what happened to Cody? He went into a 4-month feud with Brock Lesnar. A 4-month feud with Brock Lesnar that completely ruined his character and resulted in nothing outside of a semi-decent match at SummerSlam. That feud with Lesnar was fucking horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. Outside of the SummerSlam match. His momentum ruined. His momentum was not reclaimed after that feud either. His momentum was completely dead in the water, and he went into a feud with the fucking Judgment Day. He's been feuding with the Judgment Day for the last 3 fucking months. His momentum can possibly be regained. His momentum can be regained, but it's not going to be as important. It's not going to feel as big, and it's not going to feel as lively. It's not going to feel as exciting as it was going into WrestleMania 39. It's not. I don't care whether you like it or you hate it. Those are the facts. LA Knight, can he regain his momentum? Absolutely. But his aura is now ruined. His momentum is now stifled because he took a loss. LA Knight should not have been losing. If you were not going to give LA Knight the win, then you shouldn't have booked the match. That is the key factor right there. People are asking, well, LA Knight, he wasn't going to win. What were you going to do? You were going to give LA Knight the title in his first match? No, I wouldn't have booked the match. The match should have never been booked for the show. WWE had an easy in. WWE had a perfect match for Crown Jewel in the form of Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a made man. He could take a loss. Plus, he's been booked like shit for the last 2 years anyway. So what would a loss to Roman Reigns really do for him? It would do nothing to him. AJ Styles, we have never seen AJ Styles versus Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Last time we saw that match was Extreme Rules 2016. So why not go forth with that match? But no, let's put LA Knight in there and let's give Roman Reigns AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, real good move right there. Really good move right there. There's pretty much nothing more to say. I don't care whether you love it or you hate it. That is the truth. LA Knight should have never been booked in the match against Roman Reigns. LA Knight gained momentum in a loss to Bray Wyatt back in January. And when it comes to maintaining momentum, you can only maintain it via a victory. This was not a victory for LA Knight. He lost. Whether you like it or not, LA Knight and his aura and his momentum is ruined. He was knocked down several pegs. Why? Because when you lose, your momentum is stifled. He had all the momentum in the world going into this match, and WWE had him lose. If WWE was not going to give LA Knight the win, they should have never booked the match. They had a perfect shoe-in opponent for Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel in the form of AJ Styles, and what did they do? AJ Styles is now kayfabe injured. Kayfabe injured, and they're dragging that out to the Royal Rumble. Whether you like it or you dislike it, LA Knight is ruined. Can he gain his momentum back? Sure. But as of right now, he is ruined. What happens now? What happens now? What do you think's going to happen now? Roman Reigns is not going to appear at the Survivor Series. And to be quite honest with you, based on the history, I would not put it past it. I would not put it past Roman Reigns to not appear at the Survivor Series as it is. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, don't believe that report. Why wouldn't you believe that report? Roman Reigns is worse than Brock Lesnar. He's the Samoan Brock Lesnar right down to the very last letter. He looked like he didn't even want to be there. His heart is not even in pro wrestling anymore. Roman Reigns did not even want to be in a program with LA Knight. He came off like he just did not give a fuck. He looked like he was thinking to himself, I don't believe that I gotta be here. You're the world fucking champion. Maybe if you don't want to be here, drop the world fucking title, you selfish prick. It's unbelievable. But the match itself was very good. I expected it to be. Matter of fact, this was probably Roman Reigns' best match since the Cody match. And I'm glad that they were given time. I'm glad that they went out there and they made LA Knight look good. They made him look good, but in the end, it was the same fucking ending for every other Roman Reigns title defense. And whether you want to admit it or not, Roman Reigns is not doing the world title any good. He's not driving up the ratings. The ratings are only high because they're on Fox. When they move back to USA next year, the ratings will be the exact same as Raw. He's not driving up the ratings, not driving up merch sales. He's not making the show any better whatsoever. The Bloodline storyline is completely dead in the fucking water. And all he's doing is holding the entire roster back. When Roman Reigns inevitably drops that title, who, and I mean who, is going to feel like they're on the level of Roman Reigns? Nobody. And that's what happens when you put all your effort into one guy and you neglect your entire roster. Your entire roster feels like they are a bunch of bums when they stand next to Roman Reigns. And you can't do that. You just can't do that. You cannot invest in one guy and neglect everyone else. Because the more that you do that, the worse your product is going to be going into the future. It may look good in the short term. But in the long term, you are going to end up harming your product more so than you could have ever even imagined. Roman Reigns needs to drop that title. At this point, I was actually hoping for a Damian Priest cash-in. At this point, when Roman Reigns pinned LA Knight 1, 2, 3, I was actually hoping for a Damian Priest cash-in. I am not even bullshitting you. Decent show. A decent show overall, but WWE has got a lot of problems, and they really need to fix them. And truth be told, I'm going to end it with this. And this is something that I talked about with Lisa. A.k.a. Violet Zane. You've seen her in the chat from time to time. And the more that I think about this, the more that I think about this, the more I'm starting to think that she was actually right in what she said. And you know what? I actually am going to stand right behind her. Lisa told me, and I quote, "It doesn't matter who's in charge. The only way that true change will be felt is when Roman Reigns finally loses the championship." And to be quite honest with you, I can't really say that she's wrong. I don't feel like there is a true sense of change in the WWE. And it's because the person at the top is the same person that we've seen at the top for the last decade. I mean, what more really is there to say? What more really is there to say? Roman Reigns is not doing any good. He's not. I don't care what anyone says. He's not. The WWE is not a billion-dollar corporation because of Roman Reigns. It's a billion-dollar corporation, and TKO formed because of Vince McMahon and his greed to get power back. And even then, he was still stripped of his power by R. Emanuel. I truthfully don't believe we're ever going to see true change. We're never going to feel true change in the WWE until Roman Reigns is no longer the champion. I can't say that Lisa's wrong. She's probably watching this, jumping up and down in her living room, thinking to herself, "Ha, I told you so, DJ." Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. Busy brand weekend, to say the least, and I hope you guys had a wonderful time. Thank you all for stopping on by. Thank you to Dee Dee. Thank you to Dylan. Thank you to Sarah Hapka. We had a great time, that's for sure. Plenty more good material coming this week with the Lightning Flash update on Thursday, World of Wrestling on Saturday. And then in the middle of November, we are getting down and dirty because I'm going to be off of work for half the week. So what we're going to do is we are going to have none other than Earl Cole and Sarah Hapka. They're inviting me back on the AEW Dynamite Watch Along on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. And then on Thursday, Earl Cole is coming on my channel. Earl Cole's coming on my channel for the rundown for AEW Full Gear. And then on Sunday, November 19th, it is going to be the Rewind for Full Gear. And then that following Tuesday, November 21st, Hula Grim is back on the channel for the rundown for Survivor Series. Obviously, I'm not going to be streaming on Thanksgiving because I actually want to relax and enjoy me some Thanksgiving. We got Survivor Series on the 25th, and then we got the Rewind for Survivor Series on the 26th. Plenty of great material coming to you guys. Till next time, I am DJ Storms. This has been the Rewind. But before I get out of here, let me take a sip of my water, and I want you guys to tell me, you got to tell me who runs the IWC. I'll tell you who runs the IWC. Never mind you. I'll tell you who. But DJ motherfucking Storms. And that is objective.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience for your